been going through, I guess, what you would consider a cycle. I'll cycle through, and it's like I'll be really healthy and like consistent for like some months, and then it's like I'll cycle through that, and then it's like I'll kind of hit a lull, and it's like I'll kind of stop being as consistent, and I'll just kind of, I guess, hit a wall, you could say. And it takes me a couple months to get out of that wall. But I feel myself like kind of bringing myself back to a more consistent place. Because what really happens is I'm starting to get tired of my cycle, and I want my cycle to end, and I just want the healthy stuff in my life. I want that to not be a cycle. Like, I want my whole lifestyle to be just more healthy and I guess more grounded. And for me, I'm just really trying to find joy in working on myself and not thinking that a certain event or like a certain time frame, or if I just get here, or if I just work on this, that somehow I would have like, not even, that I somehow would have, I don't want to say made it, but I would just like, almost like saying that these things can like bring you some kind of happiness, while I'm wanting to find joy in the work, find joy in the, being consistent, because I feel like working on yourself never stops. Like, I feel like this whole life, like being on earth, I feel like it's all about me serving others and also working on myself. I feel like if you're not serving others, you're working on yourself. And if you're working on yourself, it can sometimes be hard to serve others. It's not saying that it's not possible, but I feel like serving others is also a part of working on yourself, because one, we all need each other, and two, I think it's just serving others, I feel as though makes things not feel so much like about yourself. And I could be selfish a lot, and I just kind of want to find more joy in serving others, find more joy in growing in myself and working on myself, and knowing that working on myself day by day looks different based off of what I need for that day. I just don't want to get into my mind that working on myself stops at a certain point, or that what I'm doing are just tasks, but to actually feel like these things are benefiting me, and not to bite off more than I could chew. Not to be like, I'm going to do this for, X amount of months or like X amount of weeks, but just wait. Like, I want to get consistent at waking up every day and saying, okay, I'm going to do this today, and not worrying about the other weeks after, not worrying about the months after, but just worrying about that day, that moment, being more mindful, not so focused on the past, not even really too focused on the future either, but manifesting the future, but then like just leaving it there, but still asking myself, what are some things today that can make me better, that I have in my power, in my control to do. And like, I want to do those things. I want to make room for those things. And I want to find joy every day, and knowing that working on myself is a consistent and constant process, and that it doesn't stop when you close the Bible. It doesn't stop after that workout. It doesn't stop after that healthy meal. Like, no, you working on yourself is also happening in the midst of you having that conversation with your mom, or having that conversation with your friend, or it's in the midst of you going to the grocery store and buying healthy food for you and your family. Like, it's you working on yourself is happening in the midst of you driving down the street and you not having road rage or something like that. Like, I feel like every part of your life is meant to make you better if you're conscious of it. And I want to mentally get more conscious of how I go throughout my day, I want to be more conscious of how I go throughout my day, because I feel like it will impact my overall life into the future. Because I find that I get so focused on the future and what I want in the future that I kind of overlook the work that I need to do today to make sure that I can get there. And so that's what I want to work on. I want to work on being more consistent. Okay. And consistency is an action word, and it comes in the form of an action, and you're doing something, right? I feel like I sometimes get so in my head that I don't actually make time for those things. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so like in my head. But it's like, get out your head, get out of the thoughts, and get into the action. Because a lot of times when I'm worried or like stressed out about something, it actually makes me feel better to just work on it. Like if I'm stressed about work, or if I'm stressed about like, not working out as much, or if I'm stressed out about like not reading my Bible as much, like rather than stressing about it, actually doing that thing makes me feel so much better. And I feel like as of late, I feel like I've been stressing about it rather than just doing it. I tend to make myself feel bad for those unhealthy cycles that I take after, I've been on a healthy cycle for so long. I make myself feel bad for just kind of falling off. I make myself feel bad for my lack of consistency, which really, when you think about it, I'm consistent with my cycle, but going to an unhealthy space for a couple of months and then going back into a healthy space for a couple of months, like that's my usual cycle, and I'm consistent with it. It's just that I don't want to be consistent with that. I want to be consistently in a healthy cycle. And maybe that's unrealistic. Maybe it's unrealistic to always feel like you want to be in a healthy headspace all the time. Like maybe that's just not a thing. And maybe that's also what I'm learning, is that sometimes you do go through unhealthy cycles, and, maybe that's okay. And maybe with this inconsistency or maybe this consistency with my unhealthy cycles is showing me that maybe I need to give myself a little bit more grace, a little bit more mercy, a little bit more forgiveness. It's funny because I feel as though I give others more grace and mercy and forgiveness than I do myself. Now, granted, y'all not gonna be seeing none of this consistency that I'm talking about, because I don't really. At first, when I made my YouTube channel, I thought I wanted it to be more of a vlog style where I like actually show you what I'm doing. But I'm now noticing that I'd really just rather talk about what I'm doing, and then maybe down the line I'll have a more in-depth conversation about what my journey looked like, how it felt, what I learned. And I mean, like, honestly, y'all are getting a real in-depth first chance look of how I'm feeling right now in the midst of this consistent, unhealthy, and consistent mess I'm in right now. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to show you guys what I'm doing, because I feel like we all have the option to pick and choose what we want to show, and that's just not something I want to show. Mainly because I don't feel like buying a tripod to fix all that stuff up and just set that stuff up. I just rather sit and talk about it and let y'all listen for a second. But yeah, I just kind of rambled a little bit, but the gist of the story is that I am consistent in my healthy/unhealthy cycle that I'm in. I want to break that cycle and be more consistent simply on the healthy parts. And I want to get better at showing myself grace and mercy. I want to get better at forgiving myself when I make mistakes, when I fail. And all in all, I want to cultivate and produce a more healthy life for myself and for like my husband and the whole yin yang, okay? That's what we want, bro. And we gonna get that junk too. Yeah, we is. Look, because sometimes I be telling myself, I be like, why you be telling yourself such negative stuff, Naje? Like, why are you up in here saying, oh, well, I'm not consistent and oh, I'm so down in the dumps. Like, sometimes I think that the fact that I tell myself that just even makes what I'm feeling even more worse and also even more true. Like, I feel like it's one thing to feel that emotion, you know what I'm saying? Feel it. Don't ignore it. Like, feel it, right? But in the midst of that feeling, be like, you know what? But we got this. I acknowledge that maybe I'm not consistent right now, but dang it, we gon' be. Yes, we is. I admit that maybe right now I'm not the healthiest I could be, but dang it, we gon' be. And dang it, we are right now. Cause I was on the does anyone else get their thinking on the toilet? Maybe it's TMI. Who cares? We all use the toilet at this point. It's not a surprise. So, but I was thinking, and I was like, I need to start having more gratitude for the small consistencies that I have in my life. I need to be more grateful for the small growth that I see in my life. I think sometimes I'll be waiting for it to be so big and like so grand, and it's just like, oh, like one day you wake up and it's like, boom, you're set and you've been killing it for months. But the thing is that it all starts off slow, and I guess for me, I'm trying to be more mindful and grateful for the small victories in my life, even the small ones that almost go so unnoticed because they're so a part of your routine almost at this point, but being grateful for them because they show me that, oh, I can be consistent with something. Oh, I can be healthy with something. So let me look into that a little deeper, see how did I do that, so maybe I can apply it to other parts of my life. But it all starts with being grateful. Being grateful, not being so hard on myself, not feeling that I need to have it all together. I just simply want to be the best part of me. I want to be the best of who I am, even at my worst. I just want to feel as though I'm living the life God has called me to, and I want to believe, trust, and know that I am forming into the person He's called me to be. I feel like I've acknowledged deep down inside that maybe I'm not there yet, and that's okay, because even though I'm not there, perhaps I'm in the exact place He needs me to be. And who knows, I just had this thought, but maybe I'm sitting here saying, oh, I'm not who God has called me to be yet, but what if I am? What if I'm exactly who He's called me to be right now, messed up, tethered, like broken, all like just ugly? What if I'm exactly who He needs me to be right now? But in my mind, I've cooked up some idea of like perfection that is not obtainable. In my rough and dirty state, He still loves me, and I feel that deep in my soul. I do. I feel that He still loves me even in the midst of my dirtiness. And perhaps He's saying, no, I created you to be just how you are now. I created you to be at some point in your life a little dirty, so I can show you how clean I can make you. But I will say it brings me great comfort in knowing that the way my life is going is not by chance. It's not by like some fluke or like accident, but everything that I'm going through, every single like situation, circumstance, like whatever, like all of it, it's all controlled by God. Whether that means he allowed it to happen or he stopped it from happening, whatever the case may be, he's got control over all of it. He's got his hand all up in it. And even in my dirty state, he's right here and he's got control over that too. Sometimes I feel as though the Lord allows our lives to become murky so that when he enters the room, we know what cleanliness looks like. When he entered my life, I had a true perfect example and a true perfect father to show me what clean, to show me what life is really supposed to be. But I wouldn't have been able to fully experience all of that without first being a little dirty. And maybe I'm just rambling and maybe none of this makes a little sense, but I feel like the fact that he says that I'm going to teach you, I know you're a little dirty right now, but I'm going to teach you how to be clean. I'm going to teach you how to be everything I've called you to be. Yeah, you dirty right now. And you're exactly who I called you to be, because even in your dirty state, I still love you. And I've called you even in the dirt. He has called us. So I'm exactly who he needs me to be right now, because this dirt I'm in right now is going to help someone else get out of their dirt too. And we just going to be clean together. And it's a first-hand example of his grace and his mercy. And it's a first-hand example of how I should give grace and mercy to others, and how I should also give grace and mercy to myself. But yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking that maybe I don't need to be so hard on myself, because the Lord's love runs deeper than any kind of judgment I can bring on my own self. And who knows, maybe instead of trying to get myself together, I just need to be more grateful and focus on the Lord more. And he'll put it in my heart to change. I don't have to work so hard at changing, because he's going to change me. I just need to be obedient, do what he's called me to do. The only reason sometimes it feels so hard is because flesh and your spirit, they're fighting. Which is somewhat of a good thing, because I feel like if you call yourself a believer and when you are doing things that maybe aren't in the sight of the Lord, if your spirit and your flesh aren't conflicting, like if you don't feel that tug and if it just seems so easy for your flesh to win, you might want to see how grounded you are in the Father, because you should feel some kind of conviction. You should feel some kind of something in your spirit shifting when you're not in the space that God has called you to be. And I feel as though my spirit and my flesh they're really fighting against each other. I want my spirit to win more than anything. And I know it will. I know it will. I believe it will. I trust it. Because let me tell y'all, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got trust in the Lord. And I say this with all everything in my soul, my heart, my spirit, my mind, to the bottom of my feet. Okay, you literally have nothing if you do not have trust and belief in the Lord. You ain't got nothing. That right there, that trust and belief in the Lord is more expensive than any money that you could ever get on this world. It's priceless. It's because if you got trust and belief in the Lord, you got everything. He gonna provide everything you need. Heck, even the some things you want. It's just like he gonna provide it all. Just work with him. Just work with him, because he working with you. Yes, he is. He is working with you, dirty and all. So go on and work with him. Stay by his side. Even when you're dirty, when you don't know what you're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm dirty too, right there with your child, and I'm just trying to hang on. I'm sticking to him. I said, Father, Just let me hold your hand, Father. But he's walking with me, and I feel him, and I know he is. If nothing else, I just wake up grateful.